This is such a big problem, and it's such a difficult problem to solve that it's going to require multiple angles to get at it. A lot of different efforts, different strategies. There's no one single answer. But if we don't focus on prevention, we're being very foolish, because we'll just be continually putting out fires. And of course, the fires here are those overdose deaths. And that's not where we want to be. We would like to go upstream on this problem and see how we can stop it from happening in the first place. And our belief is that that really means focusing on young people, because that's where people often develop an addiction, is when they're young, teenagers, and even preteens potentially.
There are a lot of people who believe that addicts aren't worth saving. People who believe anyone who falls into addiction is a bad person, a weak person. The reality, both the stories and the statistics, say that that's wrong. In addition to the fact that I think we live in a community where one of our fundamental shared values is that no person is beyond redemption and that we should all work together to let everyone fulfill their potential, the truth is that for addiction, there are interventions that can make a difference. Early prevention, early awareness, almost a vaccination against addiction to our young people in schools, even beginning with middle school-aged students, matters.
The Addiction Prevention Coalition attacks this problem from a different angle. Growing up, DARE was always the big program that you saw in schools, but this is something that allows the kids to embrace this topic and for other kids and peers to learn from their peers, and the influence comes from their peers, which I think is an important part of what the Addiction Prevention Coalition does. So not only are they going in and giving recovery resources to kids and communities, but they're also giving the kids, I guess what you would call empowerment. They're empowering the kids with the education that they need about addiction so that they can influence their peers and show them that they need to take another avenue, that addiction is dangerous, drugs and alcohol are dangerous, and more and more kids are starting to abstain from using drugs because the influence from their peers is really something that's been substantial in preventing this.
When you're talking about young people, they're going to know a lot more what's going on among their peer group, just like we know a lot more what's going on with our adult peer group. And so when you start talking about things like prevention, and then it's intervention, I think you certainly have to start with some education. You have to start with some awareness, some skills in terms of what I call is what are your limitations of your relationships with your peers. And certainly when someone is in trouble with addiction, we need to have people on the ground with some knowledge on who to turn to. And so that's, if nothing else, that's a beginning, and that's certainly a giant step in terms of helping us bring this out of the shadows and out of the darkness of what I call addiction.
The Addiction Prevention Coalition has taken on that prevention side, as their name indicates, and they're focusing especially on youth, especially youth in schools. And they're taking some innovative approaches, some things that haven't been tried before, trying some new things, because we know a lot of what we've tried in past years nationwide has not worked that well. So they're trying a different approach to engage youth, not just to say to youth, don't use drugs or just say no, but to equip youth to be better able to make good decisions, have better self-esteem, to think about their future, think about their relationships. These are all things that help insulate them or strengthen them so that when that temptation comes along to use drugs, they may be less likely to do so.
APC brings education to students who critically need to be able to operate in an environment where they can talk about their concerns, share their problems and their worries, and find treatment or help for themselves or their friends. APC brings education to kids in a form that they enjoy, that they can participate in, and where they feel safe enough to deal with these problems on their own terms.
I think the encouraging thing for me is that we seem to be coming somewhat out of the shadows and out of the darkness and out of the isolation that's associated with this disease. I am encouraged that it seems to me that more and more people are willing to come out publicly and talk about this experience called addiction.
With the chapters that we have in the schools with the Addiction Prevention Coalition, the kids are able to empower their peers. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we see and why this method is working, because we're able to give the kids the education and knowledge, and they're able to pass that along to their peers. You might be wondering how you can help us, and really the biggest thing is we need your support. We need your support both emotionally, financially, and we need volunteer support. We need people to come out and join forces with us. This is a problem that gets swept under the rug. Nobody wants to face it head on. Everybody says, not my problem, not my kid, not my family, not my community. But that is the farthest thing from the truth. Everyone is affected by this. Every single person in this room today is affected by this disease, and we need your help.
Yeah, we would encourage people to get involved in a lot of different ways. Definitely give of your financial resources if you need to. This is a really big problem that's going to take a lot of resources to address, and the APC is reaching out to a lot of schools, but they'd like to reach out to more and reach out more in the community, and it's going to take resources to do that. And I would encourage you to also get personally involved. Come out to one of their events, find out what they're doing. See for yourself how they're engaging with young people and with families, and roll up your sleeves, get involved in that. They're accepting volunteers. The more people they have helping with this effort, the better.